Hello everyone, it's Clare Church here. This presentation is about the chakras. It's a basic presentation. It's the first presentation in the De-Stress You series, where we look at several things which help you de-stress, understand self-healing, self-care, relaxation, intuition skills, and much more. There's actually a part 1 and a part 2. And part 1 is the basics, and you can practice with some tools such as crystals, essential oils, learn much more, study with me, do a bit of homework. And then the second part is really also about teaching lessons which I've developed using these basic skills. So those can be used to help your family, your friends, community, should you want to go through the whole course with me. So today we're talking about chakras and the basics of chakras. This is the first module. The 9th module also looks at chakras, but we look at blocks and how to start to clear the blocks. So the first initial base information is just kept quite simple. I have got an online presentation, which I can also send to people who do the course, and their slides in it, which explain a bit more. They're also in colour, which helps. So I'm going to talk really a bit more about this because my background is really as a holistic therapist, and I've used the chakras and the knowledge of the chakras all the way through. I've been a therapist since 2007. And I've worked with the chakras, especially with Reiki, where I've used crystals and Reiki energy, which is a form of energy healing, using my hands. And I've worked along the system. The chakras are ancient, and it's a system, really, which was developed in the Ayurvedic system. And it originated in India between about 1500 and 500 BC. And there are 114 chakras in the body, apparently. It's found in Buddhism, Hinduism, and Jainism. And they're part of the Kundalini system, which some people might be familiar with from yoga. They derive from the Sanskrit word meaning wheel or circle and cycle. In both Hindu and Buddhist traditions, the chakras are visualized with an energy goddess residing dormant in the lowest chakra. And one of the aims is to awaken her within. And in Hindu, it's known as Kundalini. They stretch from the spine to the top. I'm pointing to my spine, now you can't see it, right at the root. And they stretch from there to the top of the head, and visualized just above, as well as lotuses or flowers with several petals. So I can summarize this now, and you can easily go and find out more information. There's lots more involved. So I've kept it really, really simple. We are actually all one, and we're joined up with the universal life energy known as Chi, which we work with Reiki. We have a physical body and a spirit and soul, and the chakras link the physical and the spirit energy. So everything has a vibration, everything. And the chakras are actually not visible to many people. I have seen, I've seen them about 2 or 3 times when I've just been shown them. Actually, when someone was particularly elated or excited, I've occasionally once seen the whole aura, actually, which is like an egg. And then you can see different colors. The chakras themselves are points, which in that system, they're known as the spinning wheels. So they're the link between the physical body and aura or spirit body and subtle body. And we can harness universal energy to help clear out our chakras and unblock stale energy. And Reiki can do that. Special symbols link us to channels of energy. So at the moment, if you just put your hands together like this, you can feel a sort of warmth, and then pull them apart and then put them together again. And can you feel a sort of tingling? Because that is the universal energy working with you. And when we're working with Reiki, we harness that. So, and that can link in and feed into the chakras to help balance them, give them more energy, unblock where there might be blocks, and certainly in the whole aura. That's a very basic thing to do, but it's actually quite interesting. You can feel it. I can feel the energy from my hands. Obviously, I've had attunements like there's no tomorrow, but you can feel it. Everyone should be able to feel it a little bit. Certainly if you practiced it over a little bit of time. It's using the senses as well, which many people are not used to using other than the just sight, hearing, smell, touch, those normal ones, and feel. But this is beginning to use more sort of intuition as well. We go into more about using intuition in another module, because we actually use cards, which I've got here actually briefly to show you. We use very simple cards, a little booklet, and we can discover more about that as well. So I'm going to actually work, let's see, I'm going to work from the bottom one up. So the root is the color red. And actually, if I just show you a chart very quickly here, it is very basic, it is hand-drawn. But you can see quite easily, and unfortunately it might come back to front, but you can see the root here. And this is actually in women in the perineum area. And then you've got the sacral, you've got that, root, sacral, solar plexus, the heart, you've got the throat, third eye, and you've got the crown. You have got some other chakras, which I won't go into. There's 2 at the bottom, and there's 2 at the top. So, and of course, you've got chakras everywhere else, and you certainly have chakras on the hands as well. So we won't go into that because it's just too complicated. So going back to the root chakra, that one at the bottom there, yeah, you can see that it's right at the bottom, and it links to earth. So it's about survival and grounding, and it's the color red, very red, and it links to Mother Earth. I think that was all I can say at the moment. It also actually links to the reproductive system, the legs and the bones. So any issues around those things may well mean there's a block in that chakra, and we talk about more about the blocks in the 9th module. And then we're on to sacral chakra, that's in just at basically the bottom of the spine area. And the chakras, by the way, are at the front and the back. So they're spinning wheels that spin. And also there's energy coming up and through like this and back down. So, and the energy is coming out and in. So there is definitely lots going on with the chakras. And the sacral chakra relates to creativity and sexuality. And what I do is in the second program, really, well, second training part of De-Stress You, we look at classes where I have lesson plans. And what I've done is actually ended up linking them with the chakras quite a lot. So you can take other people through lessons which actually help them explore things like creativity, or to do with healing, or to do with other issues, emotional issues that they may want to talk about and start to think about and discuss. So the sacral, as I say, is lower intestines, digestive system, and very much the color orange. And if we meditate as well, we use color often. Color healing is another subject altogether, and color readings, because color is absolutely important in our lives. And colors have meanings. Colors are in the rainbow, colors are in the aura. There are many, many meanings linked to them. When you feel like dressing in a certain types of colors, it means probably you lack some of the colors in your aura. So this, believe it or not, is why when you go to your wardrobe, especially as a woman, because we have a bit more of a range, which I find lovely, and you might think, oh, okay, today I'm wearing black and grey, not the best. But if I'm in a certain mood, I might want to wear orange or yellow. It probably means I just need a bit more of that colour. So and probably to feed into that specific chakra. So that's just a little clue about the whole thing, really. And then we're on to the solar plexus, which is the tummy region, and it links very much to the seat of the will, emotions, and it rules the stomach and the liver. So there's a lot of issues with people perhaps who are hanging on to things, who might have perhaps bitterness. Actually, bitterness is this is as a healer over the years. I've got, come across people that hang on to frustrations and bitterness. It's going to affect the liver in some way, and there's organs around the liver as well that link in. So just bear that in mind. And there's a lot to do there as well with digesting things. So the stomach is obviously the seat of digestion. The solar plexus is the will, and I've often come across people at mind, body, spirit fairs where their will is being supplanted by someone else. There's someone walking over their, sort of ideas, the way they communicate, and they're not being listened to. So there will be a weakness in their solar plexus. There's ways to strengthen that. There are affirmations, which are extremely powerful, and we can look at those in the final module. And actually, I'm doing some work in my group at the moment this month, which ties in nicely because it's looking at affirmations in the De-Stress You group. We're going through, I'm just asking people a few questions, what has worked for them, and then we're going to go through each chakra and a good, very simple affirmation actually for the group, for each one. So I might summarize that at the end of the month as well. So just having it on one sheet would be useful. So what else can I say? I'm looking off my phone, I'm looking off my sheet. Yeah, very much as well, solar plexus links to emotions as well. So, and we say as well, gut feeling about things. So it's like another brain in that perhaps in the cave, if you like, the caveman days, we were making decisions based on our gut a lot of the time. So that is where some of that sort of originates from. But it's actually seemingly like a second mind that can actually give us clues about things. So, when you're coming up something which is quite nerve-wracking, you're going to get a feeling sometimes in the actual gut. And that's perhaps originating from the caveman days. You have the fight, flight or fright effect as well. So that probably ties in very much as well with other systems in the body. I'm going to talk a bit as well about the systems in the body in this module, just a little bit, so you can see how they link into each chakra, because each system, so we study physiology actually in Reiki a bit and in my massage course, but it's fascinating when you look at the chakras and the systems in the body, because it all links in a different way. And so that gives us clues if you're looking at doing healing work, certainly starting on yourself, how certain things link with the chakras and emotions, and certainly then link in with the physiology of the body, so you can begin to understand a more holistic approach to healing. So I'm moving on now to the heart. Now, the colour of the heart is green, and they say that once we really open the heart and we are in the condition of sort of unconditional love practically for ourselves and for everyone, then basically it turns to pink. So you've got the green and a beautiful light pink colour. And you can work with all sorts of things, by the way, with the chakras, with the crystals. We'll go into that and how they link to the chakras and the colours. So you get a lovely overview and how to work them together. Because what comes to my mind is the beautiful aventurine. I think it's oh, I've forgotten what this one is. This is a specific stone. Oh, it's for protection. Anyway, there's aventurine, I think, and rose for pink as well. Rose quartz is absolutely lovely to work with the heart. So heart is about, obviously, the seat of our absolute love and emotions. And it's right in the middle of the chakras, being as there's 7, it's kind of the one in the middle. So you've got the root, the sacral, solar plexus, there's 3 at the bottom. Then you've got the heart, which links those 3 lower ones to the higher ones. Then you've got after the heart, the throat, the third eye, and then the crown. So as you're going up, obviously gone from the bottom up, you're progressing and you're advancing. There are so many ways to look at the chakras. They're even looked at, to be honest with you, in a worldview. So certain countries link with the chakras as well. And if you see the earth as a living thing, it has chakra centers, which is absolutely incredible, I would think. So the heart is about circulation, respiratory, and it links with the color green. So, and obviously it's about love and gaining balance between those lower chakras and the higher ones. There's so many things to say about the heart. You could do a whole module of its own about the heart and love. It is probably something I could do at some point, because it's a very important chakra. So from the heart, we go up to the throat. So this, the color of the throat is blue, and it very much links with the thymus gland, the thyroid, and the ears and the throat. And it's very much about communication and creativity. So with the throat, what's so important is to express ourselves and express ourselves properly and clearly, so we can be heard. If people are not listening to us, and we kind of sometimes don't express ourselves clearly, then that's going to affect the throat. People may find they get a sore throat, or they start to lose their voice, that type of thing. I'll go into that more in the 9th module, because what we do is actually look at proper conditions, perhaps emotional conditions and physical, so they can all link in. So very much about expression, and it's really important to clear that and to get that clear. It's sometimes in some books it's seen as turquoise or a light blue, really, and then the third eye is known as sort of deeper blue. Other options say this is blue and this one's indigo purple color, so you'll have to sort of work that one out for yourself, but generally I've been taught this is blue. So obviously if you're going to wear more blue, which actually I love blue, I often do, you're probably finding that you need to express yourself a bit more, and it may well help. So blue is associated with many things though, isn't it, including being blue and depressed. Maybe that links with the fact that you haven't got enough blue, therefore you're not expressing yourself, therefore you're a bit depressed. So you can read into it what you wish, really. But obviously I'll talk about the systems and the thymus, because it's very important in the body as well. So from there, I'm going up to, I haven't skipped one, have I? The third eye. Now, this one is, as I say, either see it as indigo violet or dark blue, but it very much links. By the time you get this high up, you're linking in with intuition, imagination as well, clairvoyance, psychic intuition, and it very much obviously links with the eyes and the pineal gland, which is a tiny pea-shaped little gland somewhere. It's just, I think it is around here. And it's behind, obviously, forehead area. So, and there's a lot of work we can do to clear that. There's a lot of conditions linked with the third eye, including things like nightmares and lack of clarity in that. Basically, you start to link in, once you're developing this chakra and opening it out, to intuition. And that's why you need to be very careful and clear about boundaries, clear about cleansing and energy, detoxing if you can, and so on, because the body and the mind and the psychic skills are all very, very linked. So obviously the clearer we are, the cleaner we are, the more hygienic we are energetically, the better. So I've got here the colour, it looks like purple on my presentation, but that one is quite interesting. Third eye, I can see through that third eye. Certainly I can do connections with people, places, things like that. It's very, very interesting once you get into it and develop it. But as I say, there are definite useful rules to abide by, which help us on developing that one. So from there, have I missed anything so far? No. We go up to the crown, and the crown is about understanding, spirituality, consciousness, and very much when we meditate, probably working with the crown as well. It links with obviously conditions with the head, with the nervous system, which obviously links in with the brain, and the colour very much is white, but some books you read as well, it mentions gold, and it also mentions possibly violet. So and it very much links in with Father Sky, whereas the root chakra was linking in with Mother Earth. So you have the two differences there. So we transmit and receive the physical energy, and the chakras are manifested in your physical state. So it's ideal to be vitalized for well-being. And obviously it's when imbalances occur, and when chakras are too active or blocked, even when someone's very ill, they can be blocked. It is rare, but it certainly is an indication there is a real issue. And blocks feel strange. If you do Reiki or energy healing, you know that there's a strange feeling there, a tingling and so on, can feel very strange. So let's have a look. I'm just looking at my notes briefly. I'm going to talk through now a little bit more about the 7 main chakras and major endocrine glands. So that you will see as being glandular system. It's just a base of knowledge. I'm no doctor, I'm no nurse, so don't take it as being medically massively, informative, but it certainly helps with this, with knowing more about the chakras and how they work. So talking about the pituitary gland, which is around here and the third eye. So as you can see on the diagram, that's just there. So this links to the third eye, and it's just behind the bridge of the nose, attached to the base of the brain by a thin stalk. And it's a very important gland, often referred to as the master gland, because it controls several of the other hormone glands, e.g. the adrenals even, and the thyroid. And it's the size of a pea, as I say normally. And the hypothalamus, which controls the pituitary by sending messages, is situated immediately above that pituitary gland. And it controls the functions of temperature, regulation, food intake, thirst and water intake, sleep patterns, emotional behavior, and memory. So there's a lot going on with that one, the pituitary. And then we're on to the thyroid, which is just there at the throat, my beautifully hand-drawn diagram. And this gland is an endocrine gland in the neck, and it makes 2 hormones that are secreted into the blood, thyroxine, T4, and triiodothyronine, T3. Sorry, said I wasn't a doctor. And these hormones are necessary for all cells in your body to work normally. And about 1 in 20 people have some kind of thyroid disorder. I did meet quite a few when I did massage. Quite a few people are actually on thyroxine. I think it is a drug which helps with balance. and it may be temporary or permanent in the disorder. So it's just below your Adam's apple, and it's made of 2 lobes, right and left, and the lobes lie either side of the windpipe. So it can be underactive or overactive. And if there are issues, people can sometimes feel the pressure on that windpipe. And that's when to definitely go and see the doctor. There's also psychosomatic symptoms with people feeling lumps, which when the doctor examines, there's nothing there. Now that is very much how energy in the body will work. I find it fascinating. I've had it myself. I've had quite a lot of lack of expression over the years myself, going back to difficult childhood, etc. And once we look at the chakras in more detail, you'll be amazed how they link to childhood, how in those first 3 or 4 years, 5 years, the development of someone has been completely created socially. It's been created with parents, been created by carers. There's so many influences there, which again would have developed, would have affected the chakras and how they developed. So also onto the thymus, which is behind the sternum and between the lungs. So the thymus is about there. I'm not sure if you can see that. So it's above the heart, certainly on my diagram, and it's behind the sternum and between the lungs. And this is closely associated with the immune system more than the endocrine system. And it plays a vital role in the training and development of the T lymphocytes or T cells. And it's interesting because those have been talked about quite a lot with the virus and the pandemic, the T cells, and the ability of those to help in attacks and so on the body. So they're an important type of white blood cell, and it regulates the immune system. And the white cells, have to help protect us. So hence they're very important with the virus, etc. And I can't help but thinking people perhaps that were badly affected had issues with that, but obviously I'm no doctor. It's just part of the sort of using intuition, really. So going on to the adrenal gland. Now the adrenals, back to my diagram. So let's look. So adrenal glands here there's the solar plexus, and you can see the adrenal glands either side there, and that's the pancreas. So it's linked in, solar plexus, pancreas, very much. And the solar plexus, by the way, is also ruled by the sun. So if it's out of balance, getting into the sunshine would really help there as well, which often in the winter we don't get so much of. So expect some more issues in the solar plexus area. So going back to the adrenal glands, they produce a variety of hormones, including adrenaline and steroids, aldosterone and cortisol, and they're found above the kidneys. They help the body control blood sugar, burn protein and fat. They react to stressors like a major illness or injury and regulate blood pressure. So they help the body respond to stress, that fight or flight thing where you get something awful happen, and the adrenals can be set off, or a fight, something. So you'll find obviously adrenaline is the thing that is produced by those, and it helps us do the fight or flight concept. So we either think, oh, I'm going to stay and fight, or we just make a run for it. So it's very interesting how that system kicks in with the body. And obviously that links with that solar plexus. So just a quick recap, actually, because I'm flying through these. So remembering the pituitary gland links to the third eye. The thyroid gland links to the throat and the thymus. And the adrenal gland links down to the solar plexus. Now, the testes and ovaries, they're the reproductive glands. I hope you all know where they are. They produce sperm cells and male sex hormones, testosterone, and the ovaries produce hormones, including estrogen, that trigger menstruation. And they release at least 1 egg each month for possible fertilization when a woman is fertile. So going back here, Now, those are, if you like, there's the sacral chakra, just kind of around where the tummy button, just below the tummy button, I think it is. And then you've got the root chakra here, but the ovary and the testes are in between. So very much linked really with the sacral and the root. And that's where like your sexuality and creativity with the sacral are very much linked in with those organs. And if you think about creativity with the reproductive process, what is more creative than the reproductive process? So it's really quite interesting how clever our creator was, really. Everything links together. So I was just going to talk a little bit. There are certain things which link in. So just some examples of things which are blocks, if you liked, or what certain things link with the chakras. So with the heart, for example, it covers so many things really. It links in with the lungs, obviously, right nearby. The esophagus actually links in. The rib cage itself, the trachea, the upper spine, and the shoulder blades here. The breast, obviously, the thymus, and the diaphragm, and certain things which would be linked in, like blocks, might be things like bronchitis. Unfortunately, breast and lung cancer might show a block, and very much often, in my belief, it starts off as an emotional block and then goes forward from there. Things like DVT, deep vein thrombosis, lack of energy, breathlessness, depression, and so on. So, and if you think depression is a lack of like self-love in a way, or you know, it's a feeling of low esteem, and it's a sort of circle that creates itself really, and can get worse. Excuse me, throat affected. Might be the body giving me a signal. By the way, that can happen as well. The body speaks to you. It speaks to you all the time. It's just a case of noticing things. Nothing is by coincidence normally at all. Just a little clue there. So other emotional illnesses, for example, linking in with the heart, might be insomnia, resentfulness, lack of enthusiasm, exhaustion, things like agoraphobia and claustrophobia, becoming a hermit, where there's absolute lack of love there, and people just take that as, well, that's me, I'm just on my own and I'm going to, you know, take myself away. We can use certain things. We can use affirmation. I am open to love. I nurture my inner child. I forgive myself, and so on. There's sutras, which is something you say. So you can say a certain sutra which helps. We'll go into this in the 9th chakra in more detail. Also stones can be used, so crystals. I'm just giving you some examples. Rose quartz, emerald, jade, ruby, pink sapphire, all can be laid on. If you lay down for 20 minutes and put stone on one of those stones, or 2 or 3 on that heart area, they could well really help you. There are certain incenses, we can go into this in more detail for all the chakras. So for the heart, it would be jasmine, lavender, rose. There are certain yoga poses, including camel and cobra, which are very much linked with the heart, and the emphasis is on the heart in those poses. I actually did this lovely course with a friend who's my yoga teacher as well, and she's managed to incorporate quite a lot of the chakra information into some of her yoga classes, which is really lovely to see, because it can help people's awareness that way too. And yoga is an incredible system as well, again really ancient, and links in with the chakras, links in with Kundalini. I'd really encourage people to do basic yoga. You can learn online, you can learn free online. There's you'll have a look if you Google. You can get books, you can do classes. It's incredible to help the body, the physical body, and actually the energetic body as well, because they link together. Don't forget. Some oils which are absolutely beautiful for the heart include rose oil, neroli, absolutely lovely one, marjoram, lemon, eucalyptus. So you can have a play with the oils. In our essential oils module, we look at the oils, we look at the things they link to, and we look at some conditions which you might be able to help with those, and so on. And then in the classes, which once you've done the base program, you've studied enough information to have a background to be able to teach a bit more, we look at joining up some of these things and doing activities. Now, the real reason I did it was really in the lockdowns. I just thought how difficult it would be for young people, and I linked in with 1 or 2 young people, my nieces and my nephews. There's a lot of pressure on young people these days, and I really thought some of these things would help them. So it's very ancient knowledge, but a lot of it would really help younger people. So that's partly the reason why I created the whole system. So I'm just thinking, is there any more information I could give you in this basic module? Let me just have a look. I can go into more emotional things affecting the heart as well. I've just got a bit more information to give you. Definitely sleeplessness can be the heart being affected. Exhaustion, grief, very much, because grief links with the lungs as well, and agoraphobia, as I said, and there's many more affirmations to link with that heart. I am open to love, I am wanted and loved, I forgive myself, I accept things as they are, I am peaceful. So that type of thing. There's much more in my chakra awareness course as well, which I run, and we go through all the chakras in detail, but you also get that information, the majority of it, in the 9th module if you continue with the study. And for this first module, I've said probably as much as I need to say. Normally I'd have people to interact with, so it might go on another 10 minutes, but I'm not going to prolong it now. I hope you enjoyed that real synopsis of the chakras, and I'd love to continue to teach onward. And I'm just having a look at my next one. So the next one is next time. We're going to look at, sorry, let me get my book so I'm clear on what we're studying. The next one is essential oils, 12 types of essential oils. And I do actually have PowerPoints, clear PowerPoints for that. I haven't bamboozled you with PowerPoints this session. So the oils and the ways to use them, and a little bit on contraindications, so just how to be careful with them. And what we do is encourage people, just so you know, to buy tools for themselves to use at home. Now there's 12 types of essential oils. I'll give those to you in the next session. There's also several crystals for the 3rd module, which you don't have to buy, you can just find out about and buy in your own time. So that's something else. There's also a manual which I'm creating, and this can be ordered from me later, which takes you through the course, but in, if you like, some of the PowerPoint presentations. And there's also the cards and little book, which we go through in another session. I think that's module 7, looking at the scheme. I'll just run through what the scheme is quickly. So this one was about chakras and the basics of chakra system. The second module is essential oils, 12 types, particularly, which I've worked with, which I think you'd find really useful, and ways you can use them as well. Third module is about crystal basics. So working with crystals to de-stress. So I've got PowerPoints for all these other modules. Module 4 is a lesson plan. So to give you a feel for why we are learning this stuff, it's about anxiety and the third eye. And it's about you practicing that lesson, perhaps going through it, and relaxing with it as well. So it's just trying it out. Fifth one is about altars, elements, seasons, and building an altar, a mini altar, so that you begin to perhaps link in with the spiritual aspect quite strongly, which I do daily, and it's part of my practice, and I hope that I can encourage you to do that. And then module 6 is about basic meditation and breath works, how you can use breath to relax you. So, and then the 7th module is about the message cards, and the 4 groups in the cards are universe, seasons, elements, and colors. So you can see that backward links with the previous module, because we look at elements and seasons. So there's a little links all the way through. The 7th module is message cards. Sorry, I've gone that one already. Module 8 is reviewing the program and sharing De-Stress You with others, questions and answers, should you have any, and then just doing an overview of the 8 lessons. And those lessons would follow on from this base course. And then module 9 is about more detail about the chakras, going into each one in more detail, how I did with the heart one, but going through it in a little bit more slowly, and how you can heal those blocks and certain techniques you can use, some suggestions. I also do the chakra course as an add-on, and I'm looking at subscriptions as well. Just to tell you a bit about subscriptions, I certainly can offer the option 1 is I have Facebook groups for Ray of Hope Therapies, which is my overall company, De-Stress You for this system. And you can be in both, you can be in just one. And then I also run 8 Wheel of the Year events. Now, the Wheel of the Year is Celtic Shamanic, and what we do is celebrate around the year with the solstices, the equinoxes, and then ones in between. So it's like a wheel, sorry, wheel. And that is going to cost something like £15 a month to do that. So you'd have 8 of those, and they're an hour and a half online. So you can study with me online doing that. What we do is energy work, and we do ritual work, so just something basic. And we're working with energy, we're working with God and Goddess energy. We are working with the elements and with the cardinal directions. It's really enjoyable. And we meditate, and I do readings at the end of the group session, which is quite fun. Then there's a second option, which is that option 1 plus full moon meetups, and there'll be 12 of those in the year. Obviously, we've got one tonight actually, which is the snow full moon, which is in Leo. So quite a nice one. Leo's amazing. It's quite bold, adventurous, and so on. What we're doing is linking with the moon energy. It's very much about celebrating that full moon. That's like the culmination of emotions for people. And it might be coming to the end of something. It might be just looking back at the past month. So we might approach it in different ways. But again, it's energy work. So that's just an extra £5 a month. So it's £20 a month. There's a third option, which is this course was rolled in with the other 2 options. And so you get the Facebook groups, you have the Wheel of the Year events online, you have the full moon meetups online, and then we do the De-Stress You, which is over 17 weeks. It's 9 modules for the base knowledge, and then 8 lessons. And we'll be doing that. And then if you pay over a whole year, it's £55 a month, but you get all of that support. And what I will do is set up a teacher ambassador Facebook group to support people that have come through the program, and we'll probably have a monthly meeting to support people who may be hoping to teach or teaching already, and then we can encourage other people to join and so on. There's a 4th option, which is just a nice add-on. It's that 3rd option, which is the Facebook groups, the Wheel of the Year, the full moon meetups, the De-Stress You, and then you can do the full chakra awareness course over 3 separate weeks if you want. So it's roughly an hour per section, and that's only just an extra £3 a month, so £58 a month. And if I'm going to do an offer, and I'll probably have to do a 3 or 4 day challenge to help people understand what I do, because at the moment it's been a bit slow, but that's what I'm planning to do, or some type of introduction so people can see what the subscriptions are. Well, thank you so much for listening. My website for this is www.destressyou.com, and my name is Clare Church. I also run Ray of Hope Therapies, and that website is www.clarechurch.co.uk. And my email address, should you wish to connect with email, you can use clarethehealer456@gmail.com. That's an easy one to use. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you at the next module. Thank you. Just